Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another BU Business Leadership Development Program. Today's topic is going to be on incorporating digital marketing into overall business strategy. And today we have one of our own, Mr. Adesu Atoni Osage, as our moderator. But before we go on, here are the ground rules. Please note that this workshop is recorded live. For some of us that would like to turn on our video, please ensure that you are sitting in a professional manner. You don't want your dirty language out there in the public. So please maintain professionalism if you're turning on your video. And for the Q&A session, we'll be taking Q&A session after the presentation. Do well to leave your questions on the chat box. Mr. Deswa will pick up your questions from the chat box. Ensure that you're always muted. Please remain muted at all times. Like I said, welcome again to another opportunity to learn, to upskill, and I'll be handing you in the capable hands of Mr. Deswa. Mr. Deswa, over to you.
Thank you so much, Victor. I trust that you're well. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our RBSN Business Leadership Development Program. Our topic today is incorporating digital marketing into overall business strategy. My name is Adesu Atoni Osage, and I am the founder of 1609 Digital, and it's my pleasure to moderate today's section. And what this does is that it brings top personalities from prestigious industries and the arts to Rome Business School so that our community can hear and learn from. I'm so excited about today's program, and I'm sure every one of us here is also excited. So today we have a special guest, and his name is Mr. Wokonye Onduka, and he'll be speaking to us on the topic that has been tagged incorporating digital marketing into overall business strategy to inform strategic decision making. Let me just go to a quick bio about him. Mr. Wokonye Onduka is the head of marketing at Sundry Foods Limited, where he leads the company's marketing strategies with a focus on innovation and growth. With over 12 years of experience in the industry, Onduka has a reputation for his creative approach, his strategic thinking, exemplary leadership skills, and the ability to drive substantial market share growth. Before joining Sundry Foods, Mr. Onduka held key roles in marketing communications across Lagos, where he successfully managed teams that delivered award-winning campaigns for both local and international brands. His contribution has been recognized with multiple accolades, underscoring his excellence in the field. Mr. Onduka's academic background includes a degree in mass communication from the prestigious University of Lagos, and he has an MBA from prestigious Rome Business School. He has also earned certifications in digital marketing, and he has completed strategic leadership programs at Lagos Business School, further refining his leadership and his marketing skills. In his current role, Mr. Onduka continues to innovate and lead, ensuring that Sundry Foods remains at the forefront of the industry, thereby leveraging both traditional and digital marketing strategies to achieve sustained business success. With this kind of bio, I'm very certain that we are all eager to hear from him today. So if you know you're excited about who we have today, please can I see your virtual clap, or can I hear your virtual clap? Or can you please drop your favorite emoji in the comment section while we usher in Mr. Onduka? Okay, I can see your comments. I can see your claps. Thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, over to you now, Mr. Onduka.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really privileged to be having this session with you. Can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, please, whenever you can hear me, let me know so that I'm sure that we are having a conversation here. Like I said, I'm really excited to be having this session with you. It's an opportunity to learn, to get different perspectives to this conversation we're going to be having. So it's going to be very, very interesting, I believe. So I'm going to be sharing my slides. Let me know if you can see my slides. Yes. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not a very serious-minded person when I'm having my presentation. So you guys will pardon some of the words I'm going to be using in the slides. I believe that meetings are meant to have a human side, even if there can be some data here and there. I think it should be at least pleasurable as possible, so people don't get, people don't start sleeping. So let's dive right into it. I have like 25 minutes, so I'm going to make it as very brief as possible. So if you have any questions, maybe it would be nice for us to have it at the end, so we don't have interruptions. Are we good to go?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Please go
okay,
ahead,
so
Mr. Musa.
good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone again. So it's important for us to have some sort of perspective to the issue of strategy. I think that it is even more important for us to understand that because digital strategy is an expression of strategy. So if we don't understand what strategy means, it may be difficult for us to understand it from a digital perspective. So I think it's only fair for us to have a good background regarding what strategy means. I'm sure many of us can see the visuals we have here. It's probably something you're not expecting to see. This is a visual of people who are fighting. Strategy in itself has a dimension in military. It has its etymology, it has its origins in military. Strategy, in the days of, the BC, before Christ and all that, the economy we had at the time was very agrarian. People conquered lands. You have to beat me to get my stuff. I have to beat you and get your stuff. So I beat Tinuke beats Jacob beats, so there was a lot of war at the time. So one of the ways where countries or communities were able to acquire wealth beyond agriculture and other opportunities was through war. So strategy was very, very important in how, people were able to accumulate things and become better, both in wealth and both in different areas. So strategy is a combination of two Greek words with the stratos and army. At the end of it, it is used for the military. So we need to understand that. I don't know if some of you have seen a book called Business is War, right? I think it's a book by Sun Tzu, that business is war. So that is the origin of strategy. So when we're talking about strategy, we must understand that there is a competition. Here, in this military era, the focus was on being able to win, come up with ideas and come up with a way to win, or gain something that the other person has to be able to have competitive advantage in the war. So if country A is fighting country B, the thing that happens that country A makes, that helps country A to win is what, we call strategy, so, and that is how it is in business as well. Today, we live in a world where there are a lot of companies, a lot of businesses doing different things, and a lot of companies doing the same things. Being able to differentiate yourself in a market, being able to succeed as a business has a significant part to do with market, with strategy. So any company that you see today that is succeeding, be it in food and alcoholic beverage, be in tech, be in banking, be in consumer goods, be in clothing, be in whatever industry, any company you see today that is succeeding, that is gaining market share, that is growing, both in revenue, both in expansion, every area, there is a huge connection it has with strategy. So it's important for us to keep that in mind so that when you're having conversations with your colleagues or you are about to present something to a board of directors, you are speaking to them from the mindset or from the worldview that there is a competition that's going on, even though it's not physical. You don't see people physically competing for something, but there's competition that's going on in different rooms. There are different war rooms going on where people are coming up with things that they can use to gain competitive advantage over one company. So that's what we need to keep in mind. So if you now ask, what is strategy? Business strategy is a plan or a set of actions designed to achieve a common specific goals and objectives for a company or organization. a plan or a set of actions designed to achieve specific goals and objectives for a company or organization. Most of the time, when we see companies that are set up today, hold on. When you see companies that are set up today, it is a result of, when you see companies that are coming up with business strategies today, it's expected is a result of an objective or a goal that they want to achieve for the company. You know, if you look at the world of business, it is not about being the best, it's about being unique. And one of the things that make you unique is if you have a strategic approach to your business. When it comes to food, different people sell food. When it comes to clothes, different people sell clothes. In fact, some companies sell clothes and some individuals without names sell clothes. Without names, I mean without business names, without a structure, they sell clothes. But the thing that can make you separate, the thing that can make you different compared to the other people is when you have a business strategy as a way to conduct your business. It is something that's supposed to drive how you do business on a daily basis. You know, so if we look at it, a strategy explains how companies plan to compete in the market and how it intends to grow at a profit. Again, profitability is the ultimate aim, even though it is not the major aim. What I will always say, when I have conversations with certain people, I was invited to speak to a group of, people who just got into a company, and I told them that the ultimate aim of business is profitability, yes, but the immediate aim of a business is to get and keep customers. If you're able to get and keep customers, profitability is a byproduct. You know, so if you understand what this means, it now helps you to know the importance of business strategy. Because if you're going to succeed, like I mentioned before, you need to have an effective strategy that you follow. I'm going to come to a slide where I talk about what is strategy and what isn't strategy. Because again, strategy is a word that many people use. It's an overused word in business. You know, most managers, most leaders, they use it on a daily basis, even on an hourly basis. You know, sometimes we even use the boast of, you know, some people in our college. Yes, I came up with a strategy to do this. Yes, it's nice. Sounds very good. But at the end of the day, we need to be very clear whether it's a strategy or not. Because to be honest, most people don't know what a strategy is, you know, and sometimes people who do know make it complicated. Strategy is not complicated. It's very simple, but it follows a very specific and very detailed process. And when we understand that it's easy for us to come up with one for a company, for a business, for an individual, for an idea, whatever it is. Again, business strategy is not just for a business. It is for any entity that wants to achieve profitability. So profitability means different things to different entities. To a company, it can mean money. To a church, it can mean having more branches or having new members. You know, for an individual, it can be like to be more known by, you know, by target A or B. You know, for an idea, it can be, you know, to gain more people into your worldview or your way of thinking. So we need to look at it from that point of view as well. Yeah. You know, so I don't know how many of you know this song by Nato C, Kenny Big Deal. How many of you know it? Nato C did a song, you know, long ago. One of the very good guys I used to listen to at some point. You know, he said, Kenny Big Deal. What's the big deal? Why is strategy important? Why is business strategy important? Why is it supposed to be beyond a buzzword that's used around the four walls of an office or a company? Why is it important? Business strategy helps to give direction and focus. If you are not very clear about your strategy, you can follow every opportunity that comes. Because the truth is, for a business, it is not all opportunities that come that the business should take on. It is not every market that it should follow. It is not every customer it should pursue. Because customers vary from place to place. Different things can be used to determine which customers are supposed to be followed or not. So business strategy helps to create direction for the business. Business strategy helps you to allocate the resource that you need to actualize your goal. So if, for example, you are maybe an automobile industry and you manufacture cars or you sell cars, you know, it helps you to know what resource you need, both personal and material resource that can help you achieve a goal. Because at the end of the day, while you are coming up with the strategy, the things that you're going to need to make it come to life will need to be aligned at one point or the other. So it helps you to understand what resource are you supposed to allocate, to achieve the goal that you have at the very beginning of the year. For example, if you're doing for the year. So business strategy helps you to have competitive advantage. Like I said, business is war, not physical war, but economic war, intellectual war in different areas. For you to be able to win in the market, the share of wallet that's with the customer, for you to have a significant chunk of it, or for you to have all of it in some cases, you need to be able to be very clear about the business strategy. Going back to the point one, direction of focus, it helps you to understand the things that you shouldn't be pursuing because it is not in line with what you're trying to achieve at the very end of the day. Business strategy helps you to adapt to the market. The market speaks on a daily basis. The market is saying something. Like I told some colleagues of mine, consumers are constantly talking. The question is whether we are constantly listening to what they're talking about. So business strategy helps you to adapt to the market, adapt to the specific needs of a market. There are certain things about the products you offer or about the kind of business line you do that is not particularly fit for the customers you are. That is not, let me not say fit, that is not on the level or on the level of execution that the customers expect. Having a strategy helps you to understand this because that, again, steps you will have taken to have gotten to that point where you can come up with a strategy for the company. Then business strategy also helps you to make decisions. Decision making is very important, but it should not be made at the whim. Yes, you can have a nudge, you can have a hinge, but business strategy helps to lead you in making decisions. It helps you to also determine your performance management. It helps you to achieve customer satisfaction. At the end of the day, the essence of business is to create and keep customers. When you create and keep customers, profitability is an outcome. When customers are satisfied with your offering, both service or product, they are likely to come back and are more likely to tell other people about what you do. So if you're able to do that very well, it will deliver on this deliverable. Business strategy helps you to achieve long-term growth. At the end of the day, companies want to grow in market share, grow in revenue, grow in coverage area, grow in every aspect, even grow in number of people they employ. So, for example, our company, Sundry Foods, we are a company that has been in the industry for 20 years. Sometime last 2 weeks, we had our 20th anniversary. And one of the things people kept talking about was the trajectory of the company, how we started as a small bakery to a place where you have about 197 locations now, the kind of people we employ, the number of people that we have employed, over 4,000 people. This growth that you've seen, or this growth that people see today, is a result of a well-detailed strategy by the company. Of course, innovation and improvements. There's this saying that when it's not broken, don't fix it. That is against the essence of business strategy. Strategy helps you to improve on what you already have. It is through strategy you understand the need for innovation. Innovation of your processes, innovation of your products, innovation on how you do business, innovation in how you relate to customers, and innovation in how you do things on a general basis. So it's important for us to keep that in mind. Then, of course, when all these things are in place, stakeholders are more confident, both your internal stakeholders, your external stakeholders. Again, I'll go back to the anniversary we had 2 weeks ago. We had board members showing up. We had investors showing up. We had people who understood the business, who have been invested in the business. When they heard the numbers of the business, when they heard the things we've been doing over the years, it helped them to become more confident in knowing that this company is a viable place to invest their funds in. Do you understand? So the stakeholder also involves the employees, because when companies are growing, the people who work in those companies, they are more confident about their future because, again, one of the things people look out for in their work life is security. How sustainable is what I'm earning? How sustainable is the business that we do in the company that I'm working? So these things are important regarding business strategy. So, like I said, I don't want us to mix things. So it's important for us to be very clear about what it is and what it isn't. These are just a few things. So strategy is long-term. So anything that you're doing that's supposed to achieve a short-term goal is not strategy. It's long-term. If you're executing it in a short-term point of view, you are deviating from the tenets of what strategy is. Strategy is long-term. It looks at the future. Some companies I know today have 5-year goals, 10-year plan. The plan is a strategy for the business for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years. Strategy is long-term. So strategy is not in isolation. It is a series of interlinked decisions and actions So it's not one thing you do that is a strategy. It's a connection of different things that you do that make up the strategy or the business strategy of that organization. So it is not, we need to keep that in mind. Strategy, one of the things strategy does, business strategy does, is that it takes into account the strength and weaknesses of the business. Because at some point, you're going to have to appraise your business. You're going to appraise the markets. You're going to appraise competitors. You're going to appraise how you do work. You're going to appraise how people do what they do and understand the place where you have a strength to maximize, understand where you have a weakness to minimize, understand where you have an opportunity, and a threat that you have to, create structure around, to mitigate against. So these things are very, very important for us to, understand. So what strategy is not? Strategy is not a statement of desired results. I put an example. Okay, maybe in your organization, you say, this month for Q3, we want to achieve a 25% growth in sales. That is not a strategy. That is not a strategy. Strategy is not a plan. Strategy is not a goal. We want to be number 2 in the market. I remember there was a car healing service. I don't know if some of you remember the story. It's very old in the US about a company. I think the company's name is, forgotten the name again, Avis. They came into the industry. They came into the industry where, car healing service or car rental service was dominated by a company called, I think it starts with an H. I've forgotten the name. So those guys were market leaders. Everybody uses them. Most companies use them. So they were people who everybody knew. So just like today, when you're talking about Uber, Bolt, in those days, that company was a company that people knew. If anyone can remember the name of the company, can send it. Let me remember. So those guys were number 1. So the guys, Avis came in and they said that, their strategy was on being able to be number 2, or their goal was to be number 2 in the markets. They talked about, they came up with a campaign. I remember he said, we try harder. It means we try harder to be number 2. We try harder to be number 1, even though we are not number 1. So strategy is not a goal. Strategy is not operational efficiency. We do things well. We wake up in the morning. We make sure when we come for meetings, we do A, B, C. This is how we do it. This is how we run things on a daily basis. People come into the office, for example, if you run a bakery, you make sure the system is already on the night before. You make sure you have 5 people who are on duty. All those things. Those things are nice. They're operational things, but it's not strategy. If I'm talking about business strategy now, then business strategy is not supposed to be a secret. Everybody who is going to be playing a role. Remember, one of the things I said is that it's a series of interlinked decisions and actions. Everybody that's going to be making, taking an action or helping to bring to light that strategy for the company must be aware of it. So you cannot be in a company, and I know that generally in Nigeria, we have a problem with sharing information. So that's why I said strategy is not supposed to be a secret. It is not supposed, because it needs to get the buy-in of everybody who should be involved in that process. So it's not supposed to be a secret. So it's important we understand this so that we don't mix it. Because many of the things we say in the office, many of the things we say in meetings, they are pretty much, some things that strategy can produce, but it's not business strategy in itself. I was in a masterclass somewhere, someone said something that strategy is choice. The choice in determining how to do your business. The choice in determining how to be with the customer. The choice in determining how to run your business, how to engage other people, how your basis of engagement. In what is called something called rules of engagement. Your basis of engagement in how you do your business. So it's a choice. And and the core strategy is making a decision in the industry, hinges on 2 blocks for me. Is 1, understanding who is your client. And number 2, understanding which I'll call pretty much segmentation. Segmentation is, dividing your market into different groups based on particular or similar characteristics of each group. So we are talking about, so number one, you need to understand who's your client. Number 2, you need to understand how can you make your clients happy in a unique way so that a customer can be happy to part with his money in a way that is willing, not being coerced. A fancy word for this can be value chain. So we need to keep this in mind. So there are 3 levels of strategy. There's 3 levels of business strategy. So there is, at the bottom of the pyramid, there's functional strategy, there's business strategy, and there's corporate strategy. What we're talking about is the one that I highlighted in blue. But for but for corporate strategy, functional strategy focus on operational effectiveness, it focuses more on the operational aspect, maximizing efficiency and performance in specific areas, such as marketing, human resources, IT operations. Business strategy is where we're talking about, focuses on how the business can compete in its chosen markets. It's about carving a competitive position. It's about leveraging unique strengths. It's about delivering value to customers in a way that are difficult for competitors to match. The reasons why companies beat others is because they're offering something that others cannot match. It may not necessarily be money. It may be a symbolic value. For example, cars that are offering luxury cars offer symbolic value. And so if you are someone who looks at every kobo you spend, those cars are not for you. I remember someone told me something that when you go to a shopping mall, I see anyone asking for the price of something, that thing is not for the person, So that's where business strategy focuses. Then, of course, on top of the pyramid is the corporate strategy. Corporate strategy, pretty much sets the overarching direction and goals for the entire organization. It is about defining path an organization will take to achieve long-term success. It also involves decision diversification, acquisition, new market entry, and all that. So there are three levels to it. There's corporate strategy, there's business strategy, and there's functional strategy. Understanding corporate strategy helps you to understand how to go about business strategy, and of course, functional strategy is a byproduct of your understanding of the previous two, which I mentioned. So this pyramid is important for us to keep in mind. So now we look at digital marketing itself. I like to go simple. I'm not the type that loves to give complicated definitions. Digital strategy, digital marketing pretty much is any marketing effort that occurs on the internet, no matter what it is. As long as it's a marketing effort happening on the internet, we can call it digital marketing. It is a practice of promoting products or services with the help of digital devices and technology. Digital, again, if I were to create a slide about what digital strategy is not and what it is, I would say digital strategy is not social media. Because when people have been in meetings where, we are having conversations around what we're supposed to do as a company, and people are interchanging those words, it's not the same. It's not the same. Digital strategy, digital marketing encompasses social media. Social media is an aspect of it. Because there are some things that are not social, but they're digital. But you can have digital marketing, you can have social media, and it not be digital in its entirety. But when you have digital, social media is usually one of them. So many of the things that we know today, is social media, but in essence, digital marketing is it. So we look at the elements, so we look at website marketing, we look at SEO, search engine optimization, we look at social media marketing, which I mentioned, we look at PPC, content marketing, email marketing, affiliate marketing, video marketing, all these things. There are different aspects that, time will fail us to talk about each of them. But one of the things, if we look at it, the things that we easily know is social media marketing. Things we easily know is email marketing, content marketing. Social media marketing, content marketing can also, be used, to express your digital marketing. So these are the areas, when I talk about digital marketing, you can see that it's not all social media. There's search engine optimization, being able to create your access to your products in such a way that when people search in different search engines, your products or your brand comes up in the top 2, top 3. The goal is for everyone to have top 1, and usually it's based on your ability to access the resource that can help you to, gain the first position, or your ability to have the right hands that can help you get it done. Because sometimes spending a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean you'll be number 1 in terms of SEO. You have to have the required resource, not just in finances, but also in human resource that can help you to, to bring it to life. So this is it. So if you look at it, how I was in a meeting, and we're talking about how we're going to navigate the challenge of incorporating digital marketing in a strategy. It was actually a consultancy conversation. So this topic reminded me of some of the things we talked about at that meeting. Can anyone see my slides?
Yes, you can.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the things that it helps business or helps individuals to achieve It helps to achieve broader reach. You can reach many people. I think at some points we'll see the kind of data that we have regarding people who have access to internet, access to social media, access to internet. It gives you a broader reach. Because again, digital marketing is a result of I would say, inadequacies of traditional marketing, where people do stuff, you put on TV, put on radio, put on newspapers and all that. Those things are good. I'm not an advocate for junking them. I'm an advocate for enhancing their effectiveness through digital marketing. So it helps you achieve broader reach. As against traditional marketing, if you do an ad or you are running a campaign on radio, you can only listen to it when you are in tune to that radio station. In newspaper, you can only see it when you are reading the newspaper. But for digital, it can meet you anywhere. So there's also cost effectiveness aspect of it. For example, I was talking with someone who was trying to do a TVC for a campaign. TVC, I mean television commercial. The TVC, for example, was costing, say, 15, 20, 25 million. But if you have a strong digital marketing team, you can be able to achieve significant results, I dare say better results with cheaper costs. Through digital marketing, you can achieve targeted advertising. You can run your ads, run your campaigns targeted. So if, for example, you open a new coffee shop in, say, GRA in Ikeja, you can come up with a campaign that can target people who work or live there, who spend most of their time in that place. You can target a particular street. It is that good. Real-time analytics, that's one of the things that digital marketing helps you to achieve. In traditional marketing, we tend to guess a lot. How many eyeballs have you gotten on the billboard? How many people have seen this program? We tend to say, okay, between 50 and 100,000. No, but with digital marketing, it can give you information that is credible and in real time. I did a campaign in a particular event I did not too long ago. And a day after the campaign ended, a day after the thing ended, I got my report. It gives you that information. You can even see while it's going on, so you can make changes, that can help you to get better results. It helps with enhanced engagement. Engagement is very, very critical for businesses today. Customers need to engage. You don't need to speak to them alone. They also need to engage with you. One of the ways you know or feel the pulse of the customer is when they engage with you. If, for example, you are selling phones and people, you do an ad or do a campaign and people see it and people start complaining about a particular aspect, that can be something that can help you to engage. It could be something that can help you to go back and rework what the advantages you're offering, or it can help you to guide the customer in how to make use of it in a way that maximizes how much he or she has spent. Content versatility, brand awareness, and reputation management. I will talk about reputation management. I don't know how many of you who can remember the issue of this tomato paste company that someone mentioned something on social media and became a mess. So if you have a strong digital marketing team, of course, with a strong PR agency, you can be able to come up with very nice ways that you can change the reputation that people have of that product without having to go the way it actually went eventually. Digital marketing helps you to achieve flexibility. You start a campaign, you can tweak it. You're targeting GRA. You now realize that, okay, maybe most of our customers are in, say, let me say Maryland. You can tweak it. It's flexible. If it's TV, once you put it on TV, it's on TV. If it's radio, once it goes on radio, it's on radio. But digital marketing helps you to be able to tweak. You can look at it, you can always revise and, reevaluate and see how well it's working and see how you can make it better. It helps you to, achieve lead generation and conversion. Many people today who have become customers of many companies were gotten as a result of a strong digital marketing strategy. So it's very important in business. So while you are talking about a business strategy, digital marketing is a very important aspect of it. I'll go to why. Now, if you look at this slide, talk about internet users generally all over the world. You can see that we have 5.45 billion people who are using internet as we speak. That as of July, as of last month, almost 5.5 billion people are using the internet. If you see from 2014 to 2024, you can see it's been an upward rise. It's been an upward rise. And it's going to stay the same, except there's a major thing that happens that changes that flow, but the expectation is it's going to stay the same. So look at the population. So today we have about 8 billion people. 8 billion people. People who are unique phone subscribers, 5.6 billion. Individuals using the internet, 5.4, like I mentioned. Social media user identity is 5.1 billion. So you can see there are a lot of opportunities. I'll go to Nigeria. So if you look at overview of social media use, you look at the numbers here, it shows that there's an increase. If you look at the ages of the people who are using it, whether male or female, you can see there's an upward rise, in the use of social media all over the world. Look at data around the weekends, weekly online shopping activities for people who are into e-commerce, look at the trajectory, so all those things are important. So if you look at Nigeria, we have 226 million people. 226 million people. People who have cellular mobile phone connections are 205 million. Individuals using the internet is 103 million. So you can see that with more, I didn't have the time to put the slides for the previous years to do a year-on-year analysis, but you will see that there's a constant increase in the number of people who use phones that can use the internet. So if you look at Nigeria now, we have, like I say, you have 26 million, 226 million people, male, female, I don't know, I probably think we have more females than male, but it's fine. This is 49%, 49.4 and 50.6. So it's almost 50-50, in terms of male and female people who use the internet. If you look at urban population, it's about a little over half of the population. If you look at female literacy, look at male literacy, males look like they're more literate. I'm sure that one of the reasons why we have this is because of the northern factor, where females are pretty much married off, the moment they hit 12, 13 years. So many of them don't have the opportunity to go to school. So if we had the data that can remove the northern side, I'm sure it should be very, very close. It should be probably maybe around 59, 41, thereabouts. So if you look at population over time, Nigeria is always growing. Nigeria is always growing. Look at device ownership. We have people who are, all of the people who are polled, out of 100 people, 100% of people have phones. That determines whether you have a feature phone or not. All these are information that we need to understand that helps to make the right decisions to be able to execute digital marketing the right way. Look at internet use over time, year on year. 37 million people in 2014. Now you have 103 million. That's how many percentage. Overview of internet use. Total number of internet users is 103 million, like I mentioned before. So if you look at this, all this data helps the marketer or someone who is working in digital marketing arm of the company to understand his importance, understand they understand that there's a possibility for the markets to be captured by the company, regardless of the challenge that it faces. So if you look at in internet connection speed, that's also a factor. Devices used to access the internet, types of websites, this is very, very, I found it very, very interesting. Let me put it that way. In terms of the kind of websites, porn websites, they are in the top 10, like 2 or 3 of them, top websites. You have Google, you have YouTube, you have access videos, you have some of them. So, for example, many of us may not be, I worked on a brand, a condom brand. And part of, the meetings we had to look for ways to reach people, who were users of porn a lot, because a significant chunk of our markets, or the people who we feel that need to hear the message of using condom, is people who use those kind of platforms. So we ended up doing campaigns in those platforms, and we got significant results, because many of the people, I think, this is just me thinking out loud, many of the people, I think, who saw those communications, they didn't expect to see that kind of communication in that platform. So it got their interest. I remember on social media, a lot of people kept asking, you guys, I saw you guys here. So you guys are also chasing us everywhere. It was very funny, but it was something that was instructive, that you need to know how to meet people where they are, regardless of where they are, regardless of your proclivities, regardless of your biases, regardless of your preconceived notions. You need to find ways to reach them. So these things are very important. So business strategy is, it cannot work in the world of today without a strong digital marketing dimension. So while a company is coming up with its strategy for the year, for the business for 4 or 5 years, you need to find a way to factor in that. If you know that over almost more than half of Nigerians use the internet, if you know that, like 80 million people have access to certain platforms, which you can use to push your products, that's supposed to give you a way to think about how you can reach them through digital platforms. So one of the things, digital marketing helps to improve integration, not isolation. So digital marketing should not be seen as an standalone effort, but it's supposed to be a seamless part of an overall business strategy. For the second point, data-driven decisions. We had a campaign in my organization sometime last year, and we were able to see the sales we were making because we had a platform where people could make orders through our website, through a microsite that we created for the campaign. So people were buying, that's for a pizza brand, by the way. So people were buying because they saw our products and they could click a button and someone can get a notification and someone can chat with them. And, so all those things it was easy for us to know, okay, we are getting 50 or 40% of our sales through this platform. How can we optimize it? How can we make it better? What are the things that we can do? What are the pain points customers are going through? What are also the other things they're saying through those platforms? So it also helps you to achieve agility and innovation. Again, like I mentioned, flexibility is a very important part of business strategy. And digital strategy helps you, or digital marketing helps you to achieve that. Customer-centric approach. Our goal in our decision this year is improving on our customer centricity, approach. Because today, consumers have, become more knowledgeable than they were before. Companies who achieve success from a medium term to a long term are companies who know how to focus on the customer, who understand the touch points, who understand the customer journey, who know how to meet them on each point of that journey. So it helps you to achieve that. So if, for example, you have a nice social media platform and you have a very strong person who's managing it, you can get feedback from those people regarding how your product is doing, regarding the improvements that people expect you to make on your products, regarding accessibility, regarding distribution. Even though digital marketing doesn't ensure distribution, especially for physical goods, it can give you an idea. Because, for example, we had a campaign on Instagram, and some people were asking where our stores were. And someone was saying that you guys are not in this place. There are many people who love your product. Someone came here buying a pack of pizza, someone in Lorry, and the people have been asking, where are these people? So that also helped us in determining what locations to expand our business to, which we eventually did. So that helps us. So it also helps to future-proof a business. Businesses that will succeed are businesses that know how to position themselves for the future. And digital, they say, before they used to say it's the future, it's the present and it's the future even. So those things are important. Then we've not even talked about AI, which is another dimension. Many companies are beginning to plug into the potential of AI. So all these things are important for companies who are serious about their business. Companies who are not just ready to just slam a logo, a website, and just move on. Because that's what tends to happen. People don't understand the dimensions of business strategy, understand the dimensions of brand strategy, and how they can, come up with the things that can give them sources on the long term. This is one of the reasons why businesses fail, especially Nigerian businesses that are pretty much, let me just start and do it the way I want. But companies who are intentional about it have been able to achieve success. Individuals like, for example, Tony Elimelu. If people who know him understand that he's very intentional about it, about him as a person, about him as a brand. And we had an event not 2 weeks ago that I mentioned, when we were at the event, I was sorting out a couple of things, and a team came to me and they told me that we are from Tony. We came to check whether the place is ready for him to come. His team came, spoke with them. 30 minutes later, the man showed up. So it's very intentional. And that's how people grow brands. That's how people grow, or that's how you can grow brands. That's how you can grow businesses. That's how you can grow individuals as brands that people will be willing to give their attention to or their money to. So those things are very, very important for us to understand. So incorporating digital marketing is not an option anymore. in the 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s, probably something you could do away with and still be successful. But today, it is the path to future-proofing your brand. If your brand or your business will uncover its full potential, if it will be able to get the share of mind, share of wallet, and share of market that it plans to get, you must be able to clearly and carefully and conscientiously integrate digital marketing in your business strategy. So that's all I have to share with you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Underka. Thank you so much. In fact, for me, I think I've unlearned and I have relearned. I am not even joking. Thank you so much for your time. That was so insightful. And for me, I think you touched a lot of key parts. You touched so many things in a few and in the short time that you had. But for me, one of the striking things you mentioned was when you said what's it called? Strategy is not just about being the best, but about being unique. And then I remember you also mentioned, I think I jotted it down. You said consumers are continuously talking, but the question is, are we listening? For me, right? Okay, so I think I just need to go back and then once the slides are shared and the videos of this, the recording is shared, I would go back and digest every single thing once again. So, and I'm sure everyone here has a question or two that they'll have to ask. But before we dive right into the question, so I just want to ask you a quick one, Mr. Ondokaya. So, for example, a company like Dangote Refineries, I'm sure you know what has been happening with Dangote Refineries and the Nigerian government
Yeah.
rather. So I think for him, obviously, as a business owner, he obviously set up his strategy. He had a strategy. His team had a strategy. And I'm sure this refinery was a long-term project. I don't think it was 10 years, 15 years. I think it was a project that I'm sure project that was going to oversee or supersede even he himself. And I'm sure there are a lot of stakeholders in this refinery as well. But now with everything happening and how he had to maybe like maneuver his way through and speak to the government, and I think they've given him a soft landing. How can you, okay, so likening to business strategy right now, how can you advise if you're called to maybe advise or maybe called you to consult for his refinery now? What would you tell him to do differently? Because as it is, I think when he made his strategy or had his plans or everything he had for his business, I think for him, his projections have not been turning out to be how he saw it to be. So what advice would you have for somebody like that or as a business like that?
Yeah, okay. So there is what I call, which we already know, what I call the Nigerian situation. You know, when we're having classes, I remember we talked about personal analysis, the political, economic, and all that. Doing business anywhere, one of the things you do in your business strategy, you understand your SWOT. I think I mentioned it, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. One of the threats of doing business in Nigeria is governmental intervention in a negative way. Is one of the threats of a successful business in Nigeria is lack of stability in what I call regulation. Political changes, someone leaves office, may not be president, someone leaves office and everything changes. Those things are always there. So, but be that as it may, the business is already here. So what I think he needs to do, if you ask me, beyond the political things he needs to do, which I think he's already doing, he needs to come up with a human side to his job. One of my mentors told me something, it's regarding leadership, but I will try to connect it here. He said that whenever you are leading, remember that you must understand the human side of leadership. The human side of leadership helps you to know the things that you should do, even when they are right, is to know when not to do them. Now, taking it down to his own business, if he's able to create, because one of the things he's been able to achieve, or I would say struggle to achieve, is getting people to support him. Because again, there's the government on one side and there's the people on the other side. There's him in the middle. Many people think that his business is a result of governmental help. Government feels that okay, yeah, business now, maybe some other things are happening which we don't know. If he's able to, one, I would advise him I would advise him is if he can come up with a human side to the business that he's doing. For example, I give the example of the business that we do. You employ 4,000 plus people. That's just direct employees. There is also added employees which you didn't factor in. Then we're talking about vendors, people we partner with, people supply us materials. Those companies have employees. Those employees have dependents. I'm sure every salary you earn today, it is not you alone that spends it. There are many mouths who you spend the money on. You probably have paid the school fees of someone. Someone is not back to school because of what you earn. Someone that has food on his table because of what you earn. So you can look at the impact of it. So you can look at the human side of his business. We employ ABC. In doing this, it's about coming with a I'll call it maybe like a social campaign where he shows how this thing helps the economy, how it helps individuals, how much it pays the salaries, how much those things affect people, and how much it contributes to the GDP. In doing that, people will now understand that, oh, this business is not just for him to make money, he's also helping people to become better and live better lives. That's something I think he can do as a low-hanging fruit. But of course, you need to also factor in, like I said, one of the things about business strategy is flexibility. You need to always go back, go back and check what I decided last week. Is it still in place today? Are the conditions,
yeah,
for what I did maybe 5 months, 6 months ago, are the conditions here? If yes, okay, can I maintain it? If no, what has changed? What can I change? We need to be nimble. So that's what I think he needs to do, pretty much as a low-hanging fruit. So that's what I would advise him.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think you totally answered my question. I'll pause with my second question. I'm sure a lot of people have questions. Please, if you have questions, kindly drop them in the chat box so I can read out your question. But in the meantime, if you have any question, you can signify by raising up your hands, please. So just take one or two. Let me see if I have any question in the chat box. Please, does anybody have any question? Kindly signify by raising up your hand. Let's see. Okay, so let me go with Adebolu. No, Adebolu Ola Ezikwe. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Oh, hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I was just typing my question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Adebolu Ola Ezigbe, and I work with a PR agency. So as a comm strategist, and people constantly come to us for strategy sessions and all of that. While we also try to increase our database, expand it, and look for other people to work with us as it should be. However, I noticed that with industries like construction and say quantity surveyors who might as well need our services, sometimes they shy away or they run away because they don't quite know how our services, strategy, and everything that we just discussed now can help their business. While I know that nothing is cast in stones, even though no other person has done it, I feel like there's something missing that I'm unable to put together. So I have lots of these people coming to me, but I don't know how to help them with strategizing for their business, for amplification, optimization, and placement. So I would like for you to give me ideas or try to touch on this question so that I can flesh it out in my own in my time. Thank you.
Okay. So if I heard you correctly, you talked about potential clients from the construction manufacturing side, right?
Yes, that was what she said.
Yeah. Is that what she said?
Yes, that's what she said.
Okay. So the reason why there's a struggle there, from what I observe, is people do not understand the value you are going to bring. And for them to understand the value, sometimes it goes beyond explaining to them. That's why, in business, we must be ready to, what I will say, I'll put it this way, we must be ready to expend resources without immediate gain. If these people, for example, are coming to you or you have opportunities for them, one of the ways you can help is by doing a small campaign for them for free. Of course, when they see the impact, it will now increase. At the end of the day, you can tell them, oh, I was able to achieve X, Y, Z. Again, one of the things about digital marketing is that it helps you give results. You can see instant results. You can see instant hard information that you can use. So if they're able to see the impact of what you've done for them on a very, very, in a very, very short space or with pretty much no budget, it can help them to understand that that's just a microcosm of what they can enjoy on a larger scale. So the reason why sometimes companies are not very particular about it is because they think it's not important, or two, they think even if it's important, how does it exactly help me? For example, someone who is into food business will say, whether you market or not, in quotes, I'm using the word marketing in quotes, whether you do markets or not, people eat is food. Yes, that is true. But what kind of people? How do you portray the business that can ensure that people come back again? Apart from the internal processes that you need to put in place to ensure that there are no issues with the products, but it's about helping those people understand the value. And understanding value is by seeing the value. It's not by explaining to them. It's not by doing presentations to them. It's by telling them, okay, what I can do for you, I have something I want to do. This is the end point. This is the picture of success I'm going to achieve with this budget, which you're not paying me. Let me do ABC, and you see the results on your business. That also has to happen with confidence. You need to be sure of what you are doing as well, so that you can be able to give them results. When they see the results, they can begin to take interest. Sometimes clients need to be held by the hand. Not everyone is willing to jump into a project and jump into a commitment that will involve some financial, resource from their side without being sure what they're going to get. What they're going to do will help them see, pretty much like a tip of the iceberg of what they're going to enjoy. So I think you can start from that. I've done that a couple of times. I was in a creative agency for over a decade. Sometimes we look at a brand, we come up, with a brief internally, we generate a brief, come up with a campaign, present it to them, tell them, okay, this campaign costs XYZ. I'm going to do it for you at 70% cost, 70% discount. I'm going to take 30%, I'm going to give you 30%. I'm going to handle 70% of the costs, because I believe in it, because I believe it can help your brand. We did it, once or twice, and we got business at the end of the day. So it's about being daring, it's about being confident, and it's about letting those people see the value they're going to get without them making any commitments. That helps them to pull them in to make further commitments when they're successful, which I believe will be the case. Did I answer a question?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me go to the next. Okay, so Olajuwonlo Abayomi. Please kindly unmute yourself and ask a question. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Olajuwonlo Abayomi from the Logistics and Supply Chain Management Executive Masters. So my question is, I am part of a real estate company, and our current issue is that we're trying to generate leads. We need more people to buy our properties. So it's a company in the US, and the market is not really that great. So people are not really buying as much as they used to. So we're trying to get more people to be interested. So our plan was to invest more in social media and search engines to try to get their contact information from a landing page, and just find other customer relationship management tools to try to make the process easier. But I feel like that is not enough. Is there more that we can do beyond just advertising on social media and search engines like Google?
Yeah, there is more you can do. It's about, the issue is not advertising, it's advertising what and advertising how. For example, why don't you consider running a testimonial campaign? Speak to one or two customers who have bought properties from you. Speak to them, ask them to talk about how good it is. The truth is that word of mouth is one of the most potent opportunities for brands and businesses. We don't do enough of it. While digital marketing is great, but digital marketing can be used to drive word of mouth. When people testify about how good your product is, when people testify about how they've enjoyed doing business with you, it makes other people more interested. For example, if, I don't know, so I'm sure some of you are Christians, you go to church. There's a reason why, there's a period called testimony. People come and say what they feel God has done for them, which they feel human beings will not have done. The essence of that is to make other people know that, oh, if God can do this for this person, then he probably can do the same for me, and to make them feel my situation is not the worst, because nobody talks about the problem. So when people go out there and say something about their problem, you now realize, oh, I'm not the only one having this problem. There are many other people just like this guy or this lady who has this problem. And for him to have been able to be taken out by God, it means that mine can happen as well. So that thing helps. Do a testimonial campaign on those platforms targeted to the people you think have the resource, because your product is not for everybody. All those kind of things are important. When you drive that, it helps you achieve success. I think it's one of the low-hanging fruits you can get. It won't cost an arm and a leg. You can just, factor it in your cost as you are going along the way. Did I help you?
I think you did. Okay, let me just go right now to the chat box. Walia is asking, please, what are the things to put in mind when creating a brand strategy? And Julius is also asking, you said strategy is not a secret. Please, can you explain better? I don't know if can you take the two questions simultaneously?
Let me take the first one. Let me take the second one first. That's the one I heard, because you might need to repeat it. Yes, business strategy is not the secret. There's something called trade secrets. Trade secrets is not business strategy. Why I say business strategy is not a secret is that for a strategy to work, it involves the effort, the time, and the resource of different people. And for them to know their place, they need to understand what the strategy is. So if you're going to have a business strategy, that will work, it will involve some of your employees, it will involve top management, it will involve the staff. For them to understand where you are going as a company, for them to understand the goal. In football games, I'm sure some of you know, I'm sure you may not all be football fans, but I'm sure you guys know there's a sport called football. And football, the game has, at the two ends of the pitch, there's what I call a goal. Have you ever seen any football game that has no goal? It's not a football game. So that football game is what the term is when the ball hits the net, without the use of the hand or with obeying other rules that involve, the sports, you understand the goal has been achieved. Then beyond that, for you to even reach a goal, you know that you don't pass and go left. You pass and go right. Going left means you're going back to your goal. Scoring in an net is called an own goal. Means the score will be allocated to your opponent and not to you. So for you to know all these things, number one, I'm using football parlance because it's kind of easy for me, because I love football a lot. I'm a Barcelona fan, by the way. So you can be able to know what your goal is. You can be able to know what your direction is, and you can know what you need to do to achieve the goal. That is the reason why business strategy is not a secret. It can be a secret to your competitors, but not a secret to your internal audience, to your stakeholders, to your employees, to your, at least your employees and your stakeholders. They need to know what the strategy is. They need to know at the end of the day, when you're done with your strategy for the year, your plan, your 5-year goal, your 10-year goal, people need to know what it is so they can buy into it. That is the reason why you cannot afford to have a business strategy that nobody is aware of. If people are unaware of it, then it's an on-go. Let me put it that way. So then let me hear the first question.
Okay. Please, what are those things to put in mind when creating a brand strategy?
You need to understand, the first thing you need to ask yourself, what are we? Who are we? What do we want to achieve? What makes us different? What is the vision of the company? You cannot have a business strategy without having your vision, your mission. These things are things that people rarely talk about. If, for example, I ask you, do you know the vision of your company? Most people do not know. That is where business strategy starts from. You cannot have strategy without having very clearly defined. What you end up doing, you have to push people into the room. This kind of things are usually done in retreats, in Because it's not something you just sit down, just write, and everybody takes a working document and moves on. People need to understand there needs to be a lot of brainstorming, a lot of thinking, a lot of deliberation, a lot of counter ideas, a lot of ideation. Those things are important. So, number one, the vision of the company. It means be clear about the vision of the company, be clear about the mission of the company, be clear about the kind of market the company wants to invest in. Those are the things that you need to determine. You need to understand your competitors. You need to understand your audience. You need to understand the persona of your audience. How would you describe your customers in a single sentence? What are the things that are important to them? How can you position the business in a way that can solve the problem that they have? So these are the things. So business strategy is about little blocks that you can put together that can make a strategy at the end of the day. So it's not something you can think out. It's something you need to think through. Business strategies are usually thought through. They're not thought out. They're thought through by different people with different perspectives. So that's how it usually works. Hope I answered the question.
Thank you. I think you did. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question from Adeyinka Adejumor is, how can we balance the needs of different customer segments through digital marketing?
Number one, you need to understand who's your real customer. That's what you call the bullseye. You need to understand who is your real customer. Who is your product meant for? If your product was, there's a bank Sterling Bank, they did a campaign, a lovely campaign, which I loved. From a campaign point of view, I loved it. It's called Your One Customer Bank. And that's what I think that was their slogan at some point. Your One Customer Bank. What they tried to do is that I'm sure from the back end, where they were having meetings, they were able to determine who their buyer persona was. They were able to determine who their customer was. And they said, okay, these are customer. These are the needs of this customer. These are his proclivities. If I say his, I mean has as well. So this is the person's proclivities, where the person spends his time, where the needs and aspirations of this person. These are the things that are the pain points for the person regarding banking. And we have a product that can solve that, or a brand that can solve that. So it starts with that. You need to understand who your customers are. Then, when you understand that, you're not asked, do I want to focus on my core customer, or because again, your customers are, there's a bullseye, there is also the second level, who your customers are. That means that you need to be very clear about your segmentation. In segmenting, it goes back to understanding your persona, the persona of your customer. In doing that, you can now understand which segment to focus on. Like I always say, your product is not for everybody. Your product is not for everybody. Even though everybody can afford it, it's not for everybody. Some products offer functional value, some products offer symbolic value, some products offer other value. So you must be very clear about who your real customer is. That is how to guide you in determining the strategy that can help you reach them. Because if you understand them, you understand where they spend their time, you understand the things that are important to them. Like one of the slides I shared, it talked about I don't know if I shared the slide. In that report, I was reading through the report, and it talked about a general reduction in the interest of people in news, people who are 35 down. So if, for example, you are trying to reach a particular segment, and that segment are the people who don't watch news, who don't watch news at all, who are not interested in news. You don't use platforms that are news-based. That's how you know how to reach these people. So it's about understanding the customer in its entirety. Then you can now know where to focus your attention after you've decided to focus on them alone. But if it's more than them, you can now understand how to reach them. You understand?
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ondoka. Isaac is asking, how do I survive in business as a fresher with the present economy of Nigeria?
Can you repeat? How do I survive? In
business as a fresher with the present economy of Nigeria.
Okay, business as a fresher, by that, I assume he means a new person who is new in business.
In business, yes.
So
just a startup.
Startup, yeah. So I would say that, like I said before, Nigeria is a peculiar business environment. And one of the things you need to have on a personal level, you need to have balls to do business in Nigeria. You need to have balls, you need to have grit, you need to have determination. If you do not have that, no matter how good your business is, no matter how good your idea is, it's not going to fly. That's one. On the other hand, what I would advise is that you need to find, I don't know how much resource this person has in terms of financial resources, but I assume that he doesn't have all the money in the world. You need to start small. but scale up as you start. Starting small means that you don't expend too much resource when you start, so that in case things don't go right, you can be able to reposition your business. It's very, very key for you to know how to make sure your business is flexible enough not to, you don't, for example, you want to start maybe, I don't know what this person is. Let me see, maybe you want to go into the clothing business. And so you don't, because people sell clothes everywhere. You go to Lagos Island, go to boutiques, they're clothes everywhere. But you don't imagine you want to go into that kind of business. You don't bring all your life savings, maybe 50 million or 20 million, and dump into the business. No, you start small. Number one, find out, okay, who are the suppliers that I can work with? Can they give me on credits? Can they give me on discounts? Can I get a bulk discount from them? Can I start with 500,000 naira? Can I work my immediate family, sell to them? Let them become my first level consumers or first level customers. Let them give me feedback about how my product is doing. Sometimes products fail, not because people are not there to buy, but because the product itself is not good enough. So you must understand the market, understand your products, understand people who need them, get feedback from them before you launch out. Do not expend too much resource on your business when you're starting out, because you may need to go back and recalibrate. You may need to go back and rework your process. You may need to go back and retouch your products. Again, I don't know what industry the person is. It would have been nice if I'd known. It would help me to advise better, but generally, don't start too big. Start small and scale up as you start. Right? I hope I answered the question.
Hello, Miss Adesua, are you still there?
Looks like we lost her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my internet tripped off for a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening. Just hold on, let me see.
Okay, I think while you're trying to sort that, we have one more hand. We had one more hand raised. But I can't. Okay. Onyeka. Hi, Onyeka. Kindly unmute and ask your question.
Okay, hi, thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm Onyeka Chiazo, enrolled for Executive Masters in Data Science, and I'm currently an acting CFO of the trading company I work for. I want to ask, I was quite intrigued by your by the data you visualized. I wanted to ask if there are specific tools online or platforms where we could gather data, quality data for proper analysis. For example, I saw that you were able to get your global Nigerian data on the population of mobile phone users, or even female and male population, insights into how, internet users and mobile users have grown over the years. So is there any particular platform or group of platforms or tools that we could use to gather this a very quality data to foster accurate analysis? Thank you.
So, okay, you can usually go to the social media listening tools, which are important. We use a couple of them that helps us to get data. The SEMrush, there is like the one I use. There's also one I use, which gives me not just quantitative data, but qualitative data. It's called trend watching. Why it's important for us to use that platform? It's called trend watching. You can Google it, and they give information about trends on a daily basis. If you're subscribed to their newsletter, you get information about new trends in marketing, new trends in digital marketing, new trends in PR. It gives you a whole lot of information which you can use to make decisions. Some of those things are foreign. In fact, most of them are foreign, because in Nigeria, one of the problems we have is information is almost never available. But we can, because human behavior is general, we can deduce certain things. Yes, I know that from place to place, behaviors can change, but generally the need of human beings are the same. we pretty much struggle, or we pretty much have the same aspirations. You know, you want to have the basic needs, you want to feel important, you want to feel that your voice is heard, you want to feel, you know, you want to do things faster, you want to get things easier. Those things I mentioned, they are general. So we can use things like that and they can help you. They can go on Google as well, because Google also helps you to, I think the data I shared, talk about Google as the #1 search engine. You know, people don't understand the gold mine that's inherent in that platform. And many of the things I know today, you know, apart from the things I did, you know, people I worked with and, you know, insights I got from conversations and meetings and stuff, you know, I got them through Google. I read a lot, you know, books are important. So I read a lot, you know, so you must learn to open your mind, not just to what you do, but generally, because intelligence gives birth to higher levels of intelligence. There are some things that you would know today based on what you have read. Not that you read them in the book, but because those things you read help your mind to open. There's something called muscle memory. You know, when you wake up, you go to gym a lot, you know, you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you stop going for, say, 2 weeks. By the time you go back, you don't continue where you stopped. You take some steps backwards because your muscle has lost memory. So while, you know, you were out there doing other things apart from gym and going to the gym, your muscle is going back to what it was before you started. So that's how these things are. So if you are able to, you know, go back there and reach that level, it's easier to do certain things. If, for example, you're doing push-ups, I'm trying to use exercise because especially guys can understand. If you are used to doing 20 push-ups or 30 push-ups per day, you know, it's easier to do 30 every single day, but it's also easier to do 31, 32 every single day. So that's how it works. So that's how I get my information, pretty much. If I answer the question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Onuka. I'm not certain if we can take more questions because we have exceeded our allocated time. But I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was so insightful. For me, it was super insightful, and I'm sure that's how it is for everybody, or that's the experience everybody has. Please, do you have any final words for us? Any final words of encouragement? Do you have anything to say to us? For example, someone that is asking as a fresher in business. I'm sure there are a lot of people like that. So I'm sure a lot of people are also looking to start up. A lot of people are even scared to even start up a business in this present economy because of so much uncertainties and what we have facing us right now, and the fact that you can't even predict anything, you can't even forecast and say that, oh, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. It's actually a whole lot, not to sound very negative, but lots of encouragement do you have for every one of us today?
Yeah, okay. The truth is that one thing we need to be very clear about is that uncertainties coexist with certainties. Uncertainties coexist with certainties. It depends on which you are focused on. There can never be a time where you are certain about the outcome. If, for example, you're trying to start a business, you can never be certain. You can take a safe risk, you know, but even with the safe risk, there's a degree of uncertainty, you know. So we need to be very clear about that I can never come to a place where I am 100% sure of what the outcome would be. I'm sure you are all sitting on a chair right now. When you were trying to sit on that chair, you believed that the chair will hold you and not make you crumble when you sit on it. But the fact is that you were not certain, but you believed. That belief is what made you sit. Sometimes, I'm sure one or two of you have sat in the chair and you fell. The chair collapsed. It didn't stop you from sitting on another chair because you expected that one you sat on should have held you. So it's important that you understand that, you know, uncertainties are understandable. It's okay to go in not sure, but it's not okay to go in blindfolded. You must have all the information you need to make a very informed decision about your life. So I'm talking not just about life, not just about business, I'm also talking about life. Certain things you need to go in. You need to understand that stretching is part of the process. What uncertainties do is that it helps you to stretch in your imagination, it helps you to stretch in your ability to reach out for the future that you want. And if you're not willing to do that, then there may be a challenge with you. So I have a lot of stories to tell as a person, but I'd rather not say that, but what I will say is that there are many things I've been able to do which I did by faith, not being oblivious of the facts, but faith in being able to believe in myself to do certain things, of course, with the grace of God, but being able to do certain things, even though I didn't look like I was prepared for it. So when opportunities come, opportunities don't come and stay forever. Opportunities don't come in a vacuum. They come and they're taken by you or by someone else, but the opportunities will not stay there just waiting for you. So you must learn to develop yourself. You must learn to expand your mind. You must learn to ensure that you think beyond what you see. Being able to do that will help you to at least, take the next step. And when you do that, take the step. Take the step. Like I advised the other guy who was, trying to start a business and all that. Take the step. Take calculated risks. Don't dump all your resources in one idea. Take calculated risks. When you see, you can tweak things around. You can make, little adjustments here and there. But at the end of the day, you can find, something that will make you happy about the steps that you took. So that's my advice for everyone. I hope I made sense with what I said. So that's it.
You made so much sense. Even if I do not even take anything from what you said today, which of course is not true, what I took was the fact that you said uncertainties coexist with certainties. I want to say a huge thank you to you on behalf of everyone, both students of our SPN, both the alumni, both everybody. I want to say a huge thank you to you to Mr. Onduka for honoring our invitation and then for impacting us and for answering every question, to our satisfaction. Thank you so very much. We are so grateful. Thank you. And we hope to see you another time. I'm sure when we come calling again, you'll be there to answer us.
Yeah, we should. We are family, so we should stand for each other. So it's cool. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for the questions. They also, like I mentioned, questions that help you to challenge your mind and think out of the box. So I appreciate the conversation. It's very, very good. And I really enjoyed myself. So thank you very much, everyone. And have a good week. Days left of the week. So thank you so much, everyone. All right. So bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Also wish you well in your future endeavors. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. So now I'm going to proceed to invite Mr. Idowu Adeleke. Mr. Idowu, are you here with us? Hello? Mr. Idowu, can you please unmute yourself and speak to us?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Our sincere appreciation goes to Mr. Onduka for the very insightful webinar, for the insightful section, and then our moderator, Adeswa. You did justice to moderating the section, so thank you so much for your time too. So I'm just here to say a couple of things to our students and the prospects on this section. So first is on Saturday, 31st of this month, is our open day, and we'd like to have our prospects and students for that event. It's going to be a very wonderful one, and it's going to be an avenue for you to get clarification on any of your concerns or questions. Now, it's also very important I notify prospects on this call that we're closing on the October 2024 intake enrollment, and that has been slated for September 15th, 2024. So if you're on this call and you have an offer, you are yet to secure your offer, kindly do so at your earliest convenience. It's very important you do that as soon as possible. It's also very important I let you all know that, especially for the prospects really, that for the next intake, which is March, April 2025, there's going to be an upward review of the fees. So if you've ever been contemplating on completing a management program, this intake is the best option. And I would encourage you all to take a shot at it and then come on board. So thank you for your time again. Thank you, Adeswa. Thank you, Mr. Onduka. To have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you on the next session. And we're looking forward to having more exciting sessions with you. Bye, everyone.
All right, thank you, Adesua. So just to mention for those who are still dropping their details in the chat box, please you can fill the survey so you can get the recordings and the slides for this session afterwards. And also for apologies to those that we couldn't take their questions, Mr. Unduka is on LinkedIn as Unduka Nkoye. So you can reach out to him. Perhaps you want to take the conversations outside of here. You can also reach out to him. I also noted that someone was asking for a recommendation. So you can also reach out to him on LinkedIn. I'm sure he's open to that. So you can also get feedback regarding that. So thank you all once again and do have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Justina. See you all in